All right, everyone. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Off to a nice and sunny start. It is warming very quickly, and this is over Centennial Olympic Park, where it looks like they're already starting to get set up for Look Up Atlanta, which is just a few days away. If you had plans to go to that, it's going to be a scorcher for that event, so just prepare for that. And we also will be watching some storms as we head into the weekend, so got all those things to cover. But first, I am First Alert Meteorologist Courteney Jacobazzi. Hope your day has been wonderful so far. It's been hot the past couple of days, but that humidity hasn't quite crept in just yet, so it hasn't necessarily been super sticky and oppressive out there, but don't you worry, Georgia is going to Georgia. It's on the way, that humidity, and that's going to cause for some pretty dangerous heat as we head into the weekend. So we're going to talk about that, talk about some storm chances on the way as well. Everything you need to know as we head into the 4th of July weekend this weekend. First, we're going to talk about this, though. This is pretty typical this time of year when you get these hot days. We have air quality alerts here in Atlanta. It's just from all the people who live here and drive around through here. We have a code orange in place today. And essentially what that means is the air will be unhealthy for people who are sensitive groups, I guess you should say. So people with extreme asthma, COPD, really young children. So just be careful as you're making your way out and about this afternoon, especially in the peak heating hours between around 3 and 6. You just want to limit your time outside or limit how much you exert yourself outside with that air quality alert in place for the metro today. As we go through the afternoon, it's going to be sunny and warm. Temperatures will climb into the low 90s today. We topped out in the upper 80s yesterday, but I do think we'll be a little warmer today with temperatures again topping out in the low 90s. It's only going to be about our 6th 90-degree day of the year, which is crazy. Normally we are well above that, so we've been pretty blessed so far. We had a really mild spring, and the start to summer has also been pretty decent for us. We started summer, in fact, in the 70s, which is really, really nice. One of the coolest starts to summer, which I was not necessarily mad about. But the heat is here, and it is here to stay this week at least, so we're going to talk about that as well. Again, temperatures in the low 90s. If you are in the mountains, you'll top out in the upper 80s today, but most of us will be in the low 90s. Good news is, with that humidity staying kind of in check today, low 90s are going to feel like low 90s. It's not going to feel like the mid to upper 90s today, so overall looks pretty good if you have anything to do this afternoon, or the kids who are maybe probably already at camp if they're at summer camp, but overall it's going to be a pretty nice day. We'll be in the mid-90s Thursday and Friday with upper 90s on the way for Saturday. Saturday definitely the hottest day, and that's the day where we could have some dangerous heat, where that heat index value gets into a heat advisory criteria, so we'll be watching that very carefully. And then temperatures do slightly drop. We'll have a cold front start to approach the area, and that will help increase our coverage of rain and slightly cool us down as we head into the start of next week. We do have the first alerts in place for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because of the high heat and because of the chance for some storms. We're going to be watching for what we call mesoscale convective systems. Say that 5 times fast. They're essentially clusters of showers and storms that'll roll in from north to south, kind of similar to what we had over the weekend that caused some of the storm damage for us. Now, not saying that this is going to necessarily cause storm damage, but they can pack a punch when they roll through, so we'll be watching them carefully to see how they develop. It's too far out to kind of determine when and where they're going to set up or how strong they are going to be. The time of day will play a factor in that, too. If they come through during the heat of the day, kind of like they did over the weekend, that obviously will give them a little more steam to work with. But right now we have those first alerts in place mainly for the heat because that's going to impact all of us, but with that kind of backup for the storms as well, because it will be possible. And just when you have, again, what we call MCSs roll through, you can't ever really rule out severe weather with them because usually they carry some pretty gusty wind, those straight line damaging winds out ahead of them. So something we'll be watching for over the next couple of days once we start to get our higher resolution models in to give us a better idea of them. So those will really start on Friday and then again continue into the weekend. So this is why we have this very strong ridge of high pressure out to our west, bringing excessive heat to Texas. They've had temperatures well over 110 degrees, feels like temperatures in the 120s. It's been insane out there. And that is going to start to shift east and control our forecast, but it's not going to park right over us. It's actually going to just move east enough where we're kind of on that outer periphery where it's still heats us up, but we also will have these rounds of storms right along it. We call it the ring of fire in the meteorology world. Why? Because underneath that really strong ridge, you have a lot of heat underneath, and the storms ride along that ridge, and those are going to get steered into our forecast with a northwesterly flow that's going to be in place around that ridge here. Right now, out to our northwest, they're dealing like places like Kansas City, so up towards Missouri, over towards St. Louis. They've experienced storms all morning, and we're going to kind of watch to see as those get steered into our area around this ridge. Underneath that ridge, they really don't get a lot of rain. That ridge of high pressure kind of creates a dome of protection for everyone right underneath it. But once you're on the outer periphery, you're fair game for those showers and storms to kind of ride along it. So that's what we'll be looking for as we head into the weekend and to the start of next week. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Low 90s today. Maybe a few showers tomorrow. We were watching an MCS potentially tomorrow. Looks like it kind of fizzles apart, but a few showers, especially north of Atlanta, up towards the mountains is possible. And then mid-90s Friday, upper 90s Saturday with the heat index well into the triple digits. As we head into Sunday, low 90s. So if you are heading to look up Atlanta, if you have any weekend plans by the lake, by the river, anything like that, you want to stay hydrated. And also just be mindful of storms. First Alert Weather app will be a great tool to have. It'll let you know if lightning is within your area. And if it's within 5 to 10 miles, you want to head inside, wait for the storms to pass, and then kind of keep on with your day. Really important note for those of you who maybe are headed out on the water or headed out to any events over the weekend. And we can't stress enough to stay hydrated over the weekend as that heat starts to turn up. We will keep the 40% coverage of showers and storms Monday and Tuesday. Again, a cold front will start to approach the area, and that could keep us fairly unsettled for Monday and Tuesday. So just something that we'll be watching, and that will help kind of cool us down from the upper 90s to the low 90s Monday, and then back right near average just in time for the 4th of July. Again, we'll be fine-tuning this forecast very carefully for you in the coming days, but those first alerts for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with heat index values well into the triple digits, and also we'll be watching for storms to kind of ride along that ridge that is bringing us the heat, and some of those storms at times could be severe, especially just with the setup that we're looking at. That's definitely not out of the question, but something that we won't really have a good handle on until a few days out, just because models this far out are not going to give us a really good idea of exactly when those are going to come through. It takes a higher resolution model for these MCSs. So something to watch over the next couple days, hence the first alert, just kind of giving you a bit of a heads up. All right, everyone. I hope you make it a wonderful Wednesday today, halfway through the work week. For some of you, heading into a long weekend. Hopefully, you do have a long weekend ahead of you. That's always a little more fun to look forward to. Of course, we'll keep you posted here on the heat, on the storms, everything that's on the way for this holiday weekend that is upcoming. And in the meantime, enjoy the sunshine today and the slightly lower humidity. We know that doesn't last here in Georgia in the summertime, and we'll catch you here next time.